Sports Show. We've had a lot of great athletes in at different times. Our next guest just won a silver medal recently at the Australian Nationals in the pole vault, one of my favourite events.
Pole vault.
I just marvel at the athletes are doing. I have a genuine fear of running in and that pole and then watching it bend and catapult you over. It's not one of my... But this guest has done some amazing things through her career. Jamie Scroop joins us. Jamie, firstly, congratulations on your silver medal.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, not too long ago.
No, just, it feels like a while ago now, but yeah, only a few weeks ago.
All right, before we'll get back to your silver medal, I want to take the viewers back into 5 years ago, you were bobsledding. Before that, you're pole vaulting. So we pole vault to bobsleighing to pole vaulting again. How did we get to bobsleighing?
Yeah, I think I've had an interesting journey, I think, athletically, and I got to a point where I just struggled to clear any bars with pole vault, and I had quite a frustrating season in 2018 and didn't make the Commonwealth Games team. In 2014, a selection decision went against me, and so I was sort of looking to make good on that in 2018, and when that didn't happen, I just thought, well, maybe it's time to give something else a go, and the opportunity came up to try out for the sliding sports, and I originally wanted to do skeleton, but yeah, landed myself a spot in the bobsled team, and we ended up winning a couple of medals and slid World Cup.
You did, yeah.
Where
World
did you
Cup,
go?
Euro Cup, World Cup and the Euro Cup.
Yeah, but whereabouts were they held?
Yeah, so I started in Norway,
Okay.
And then we spent most of our time in Austria and Germany.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good trip anyway, isn't it?
It was beautiful. Yeah.
That's what I'd be looking at. I'd say, where are we going to play this? Oh, right, okay.
We were having a quick chat off air before you came on, and we talked about Jana Pittman doing the same, a different event, of course, but it seems that a lot of the track athletes get over to the bobsled. I'm kind of thinking, if I wasn't pole vaulting, you look like you'd be a good sprinter or you'd be good. How do you get from a summer sport to a winter sport? What made you travel that road?
Yeah, good question. It's speed and power, I suppose, and it's still in a straight line, which is nice. I think I'd always looked at the Winter Olympics and thought it would be a fun thing to do, sort of, sliding down a giant icy slippery dip. I think it was just one of those opportunities that kind of came up. The Winter Olympics were on at the same time, and it just, the timing was right.
One of the things I have to give you here, you went pole vault, bobsleighing, back to pole vault, where you said that you had a poor run, you weren't clearing any bars, it wasn't working for you. So then you bobsleigh. Full credit to you for actually going back to pole vault. Yeah. Well, what made you go back? Because it must have been fresh in your mind that, I didn't have a very good year. I wasn't doing the things I want to do. I wasn't being selected. Yet, boom, you go back and bang, silver medal. And your jump was good as well. So what's brought that about? And congratulations for doing it, because not a lot of people would do that, would they?
No, they'd stay in the way.
No, I've done that. So well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I think my coach Kim Simons and we just sort of gelled quite well when we started working together, and technique-wise, we were able to put a lot of things together that I hadn't previously been able to. I think I've had the benefit and disadvantage of working with a lot of different coaches throughout my career, and I sort of know what works for me now as an athlete, being a little bit older, and having those experiences, and I just felt like I had unfinished business, and I felt like the reasons why I wasn't able to continue in the sport previously were out of my control, and I felt like I had something to prove, and I wanted to come back and make sure I ticked all of those boxes before I walked away on my own terms.
That's the strength of an athlete to me. That does that. It goes away
there's a mental toughness
and comes back. Yes, because you think, it just didn't work for me. I'm interested in the two sports. I'm interested in pole vaulting and bobsleighing. There are a million sports out there, Jamie, and you picked pole vaulting for a start, which just looking at the pole frightens the hell out of me. Yeah. And bobsleighing, that's not even on my radar. So they're two sports that are a bit left of centre, I suppose. So what made you...
Explosive power, which you don't have. That's all.
That's right. Very good point, Phil. Very good point.
Yeah, they are a bit obscure. I think, I came through gymnastics as a kid, and I went, I wasn't particularly good at ball sports, so that is not a strength of mine, as many people will attest to. I think, probably the options were limited there, and I just found some, things that played into my strengths, I suppose, and you know, I'm relatively strong, I'm relatively fast, and you know, gymnastics being my background, pole vault was a good fit for that.
So who put the pole in your hand? That's the person I want to speak to, because it's not something that I would walk in and go, right, give me a pole, I'm off. It's something that you'd have to look at and go, can I do this?
Yeah.
Can you remember your first boing?
It's kind of in a roundabout way. I think Alan Launder is the gentleman who put a pole in my hands, and he unfortunately is no longer with us. And I think, you know, if I go back to 2014 when I qualified for the last Commonwealth Games, and you know, he was my coach at the time and passed away shortly after. So you know, he was responsible for my start in pole vault, and certainly, you know, taught me a lot, and worked alongside my current coach Kim Simons as well. So yeah.
So the lure of the Commonwealth Games now is yours, isn't it? That's why you're back. Now you've got a silver medal. It's got to put you in a good position to be selected into the Commonwealth Games team.
I hope so, and I hope this year that, you know, things go my way as far as the selection decisions, and I'm all in at this point. I've got something to prove, and I've never been fitter, and I've never been stronger, and I've got an amazing team around me.
Fantastic.
And I think we're on track for a good result.
So your jump in Sydney was 4:20.
Yeah.
Your best 4:30, nearly 4:35. The bar just didn't quite stick. I think I read a quote somewhere where she said, it wasn't my fault, the bar didn't stay there. So why would it kind of, you know how sometimes they look like they're going to, and then, so just, what do you reckon you could jump in the Com Games? What do you, have you got a, where you see yourself knowing that I can get there? If things went really right, run up good, pole good, everything great, what do you think you could clear?
Do you know what, I was off of a shorter run-up still and shorter poles at Nationals, and so I think once I get back onto my full-length poles and full-length run-up, I don't think, you know, 450, 460 are outside of the realms of my capabilities. And obviously, you know, I think anyone who's pole vaulted, or, you know, probably any sport, you know, it comes down to what happens on the day, and there's lots of different things that play.
Sometimes it just goes right. It just goes right.
And, you know, if the weather wants to behave and everything else clicks, I think it's, you know, it's well within my reach.
One quick one for you, because we are getting a bit short on time, was how did you get involved in this ultimate tag? That's what I want. Anyone who saw that show, watching people running at 4 million miles an hour to not get tagged, how did you get involved in that? Yeah,
I got asked to audition, and I think I said no a couple of times in the first instance, because I was focused on pole vault and coming back, and you know, Olympics were my dream, and I eventually said, all right, like, let's give it a go, and I got offered a position as a pro tagger, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Pro tagger.
Hey, quickly before we let you go, you touched on the Olympics. I know Com Games are coming, the Olympics are coming. You've had some injuries, but you look like you're in a really good space physically and mentally at the moment.
Yeah.
How long do you reckon you could? Is there an age? You know, in some sports they say, oh, you peak at about 28. You're good at 32. For pole vaulters, it seems that they can go longer. They're actually better older than in that younger bracket. Are you finding that?
I think certainly for myself, yeah. I think as I've gotten older, things have, you know, I've seemingly gotten better with age. But I think, you know, you can have a plan athletically, or, you know, in any area of your life, and it doesn't always go that way, and it certainly hasn't for me. And so, did I think I'd still be competing at 34? No, but I am, and I feel good about it, and you know, I think I just want to show people out there that you don't have to be a certain age or a certain shape, or, you know, I think women especially as athletes, you know, we often you know, I think because, you know, you want to have kids and things like that, you finish a little bit earlier, and you know, I'm just here to show that you don't have to stop at a particular age.
Well, Jamie, you certainly showed a lot of people that you don't have to. You've shown you can go to a sport, go to another, and succeed, and then come back and succeed again. Love your positivity, and we'll follow with interest the Com Games coming up, and nothing under 460 now, of course, but really appreciate your time, Jamie. Stay with us. Still plenty to come on the show.